At the moment, there are some things in the UK which are working really, really well for me, and there are some things which aren't working so well. So, for instance, in terms of access to medication, I am on Copaxone, so I'm on a disease-modifying drug. That's great. Sadly, because of the diagnosis problems, I didn't get on that straight away. I was, probably 10, 15 years too late. But I do have access to Copaxone, which is fantastic. So that's a daily injection. I also have anti-spasticity medications, and I have access to sort of catheterization, to neurophysiotherapy, and I'm lucky about where I live because I also have a really good MS treatment centre where I go for Keep Fit classes and for oxygen treatment. So those things, I'm really grateful for. However, there are drugs that could help me that haven't been licensed they have been licensed, but we're not able to access them. They haven't been approved by NICE. So there are drugs like Savatex, which is the cannabis-based drug, which is supposed to be really good for spasticity for some people. I'd really love to try that because spasticity is the biggest problem that I have in my legs with multiple sclerosis, but can't access that. They've stopped or denied funding where I live for that particular drug.
And then one day I wanted to go out and get something, and one of the people in the office took me out. So she's pushing me in the wheelchair down Cross Street, which is the street right opposite where I worked. And we saw somebody going down there and said, "Oh, what are you doing in that wheelchair?" And then you kind of think, well, you can't stand there and tell them all about it, but you'll tell them next time that, I've not as good as I look on the phone. God, that's not very nice to say. I'm a bit more incapable of doing all these things. I remember somebody came and I had to write into a savings book.
Yeah.
And my writing wasn't good. And mother said, "Good God, my daughter can write better than that." So she didn't know anything about me because it wasn't announced or anything, but I was very well liked there. The bosses all liked me, so I just said to Neil, Jim, I'm going to leave. And he said, "Well, I've been on to you to give up work anyway." He said, "That's a good idea."
No.
I retired because, I don't know, I suppose I'd had enough. Taken enough of it. You're putting on a brave face to kind of fool everybody. It's a bit of a nuisance that you've got to work round and get round. Does that make sense too? I mean, it's an obstacle, and not things don't come easy in life. In everybody's lives, people have different things that you've got to deal with, and it's a big thing for me, I must admit, but we seem to deal with it, don't we?
Yes, I'm more concerned with the practical aspects of problems that occur, getting round them, adapting equipment and devising means of solving problems.
But when you first moved in, he said, "How come you've got everything more or less at your fingertips? The kitchen's been lowered and..."
Got the lift, haven't you?
Oh, the lift is
the shower room,
the shower
and
room's nice,
the path in the garden, and the raised driveway, and the carport.
And they did say to me, "Well, now what?" Because I've lost my husband, and they said, "What are you going to do now? Where will you live?" I said, "I should live here." And they said, "Do you think you can manage that?" But I had a mum just round the corner, and I knew my mum would be here every day, and she did. She came round and helped me out a lot.
I think it's also a massive postcode lottery as to what you get. It took 2 years to get an electric wheelchair on the NHS. Mine goes inside and it goes outside, so it's one that can both get me around the house when I'm not well, and also I can take it out and I can take it on a bus. So the freedom that gives you is huge, but I shouldn't have had to wait 2 years for it. And people who aren't in a position that I'm in are going to be really stuffed, actually, without a vehicle to get them out of the house and to get their independence. I remember the first time I dreamt that I was just using my mobility scooter in my dream, and it was perfectly normal. It wasn't anything strange about it. I just, in my dream, went out and I got in the scooter, and it was probably about 6 months after I started using the scooter, and I woke up and I was so pleased, because meant that my brain had caught up with accepting that I was disabled. So that was a really kind of crucial dream for me that I was really, really happy about.
I'm just as natural as I can be. It's as I've said before, I laugh a lot and smile a lot at people, and it's none of it feels like work. It's all natural, because I would smile naturally to everybody, and I really think I'm one of the lucky ones. You know, I've said this before, I think I'm one of the lucky ones. And some of the people down the centre are really poorly and got a lot more to put up with than I've got to put up with. And lots of those have a lot of pains too.
I think you tend to get on with things and then ask for help when you get stuck, don't you? Rather than...
Well, this is what we said.
Which is fine, which is very good.
So
it's the way it should
he
be.
wanted to do everything for me. And I said, no, you mustn't do that, because Neil's my second husband. And I said, Jim used to say, you know, I'll do as much as I can for you, but you ask me if I don't come forward. So that suited us anyway. I always ask if I want anything.
Yes, that's right.
Don't ever get refused anyway.
Very rarely, very occasionally, I have a dream where I'm able to run or able to dance, and I hate those dreams, because you wake up and it's like, brain, why did you do that? Like, why did you let me remember how that felt? Like, I'm quite happily dealing in my own way with the fact that I can't do those things. So I'd really appreciate it if those dreams would go away completely. But generally speaking, my dreams are a bit loopy, but I'm disabled in my dreams, and I have MS, and that's fine.